It's crazy to think about how we've had 0 boring weeks this season. I mean, there have been no misses. Not a single week has gone by where the outcome was predictable. The AI arena does have a lot to do with that, but so does this wild-ass cast. There's gonna be a lot to go over today, including this huge plot twist that has completely flipped this game upside down. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. I know I say this all the time, but that's because it's true. The live feeds are the real show, okay? The TV edit is cute and everything, but it just doesn't cover everything. There's just not enough time to really dive deep into the intricacies of this gameplay. So if you would like a deeper dive into what actually goes on in the show day to day, this is the channel for you. Now, let's get started. So when we last left off, Chelsie was our HOH, and either Kimo or Angela were set to be the target for the week. The target started off as Angela at first, but it quickly switched over to Kimo when everybody realized that he just had more numbers in general. Now, while all this was happening, Angela was doing her usual thing of being super paranoid as per usual. She had her suspicions that Leah and Quinn were working together with T-Kor to take over the rest of the house. And she had brought all this paranoia over to Chelsie in hopes of saving herself. To my surprise, Chelsie actually takes the bait, and throughout the day, she's just going to spend time going back and forth about what exactly to do over this issue. Now, Chelsie doesn't 100% take Angela's word at face value at first. She confronts T-Kor about it, who denies it because, duh, it really isn't true. So Angela's conspiracy itself isn't going to hold a lot of weight in this decision, but Chelsie still does want to pull off this move and take the shot anyway because she feels like it's the right move to make. And I agree. Plus, T-Kor and Rubina are obviously 1000% behind this move because they wanted Quinn out this week anyway. So that part is really going to seal the deal for Chelsie.
But also, the good thing about either one of them going out is you split them up.
That's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what we're talking about.
You split them up.
Okay, so here's what it is.
Yeah.
Petty-wise?
We know, girl.
You know. Right.
The only question left is, which person does she target? Does she go after Quinn or does she go after Leah? There are pros and cons to both, and Chelsie and MJ are going to keep going over these scenarios over and over again trying to reach their decision. Quinn is better at comps, but Leah's better socially. Quinn is more of an immediate threat, but Leah could be more of an endgame threat. Chelsea's getting this conflicting advice from different people, but she's ultimately going to decide to target Quinn.
Because he is somebody that is solely, truly rocking with Leah. You can tell. And I do get worried would turn on us, because he has before.
She thinks that he's more likely to win and seek revenge. Plus, Chelsie did always have a slight preference towards keeping the girlies safe anyway. Now, Chelsie does give Kimo the heads up about all of this to maintain that trust there.
She's gonna use the veto.
Okay.
She's gonna use it on Angela.
Okay.
We're gonna put Quinn up.
Oh, shit.
We're gonna get Quinn out.
Okay.
Quinn and Leah, we feel sketchy about.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
And Kimo is seemingly fine with it. He's really happy that Quinn's the target and all that. But again, I do have to say, I am just a little bit disappointed in Kimo for not sticking up for himself just a little bit more. Kimo doesn't even attempt to get the veto used on him instead of Angela in this conversation, like at all whatsoever. Which I hate for him, you know. I really do wish Kimo just had a little bit more fight in him. But as Tucker would say, he just don't got that dog in him. And you know what? This is getting to the point where even T-Kor and Rubina are starting to notice, and even they want Kimo to start getting a little bit more active.
What is he doing?
I honestly...
Quinn had no problem going upstairs.
See what I'm saying?
And now he's talking before you get to talk, Kimo.
Why didn't... Look what you did.
Look what you did. You might have just made things worse.
Yep. You could have just gone up when we said to, been like, oh, you're right, I should go. Let me go.
Later on in the night, Chelsie and MJ go to chat with Leah just to see where her head's at. They start off this conversation talking about Angela and how shady she is, But this conversation is really, really long, and eventually the topic moves over to Quinn. Now, even though Quinn and Leah are fine right now, she's never really had his best interest in the game. So in this conversation, Leah does make a few comments here and there, just talking about the times where she hasn't trusted Quinn.
Y'all are setting yourself up for failure.
But it doesn't include me. Because why is he making fun of the fact that Rubina wants to work with him to me? I'm just saying, like, I don't get it. I don't get that part. And he told me that she was his target last week. And then he put Angela up.
Now, Leah's not trying to directly run the bus over Quinn's back here. And later on, she even tries to walk back some of the stuff she said, but it is just too late. Chelsie now feels like she has even more ammo against Quinn, and she's ready to fire it all off. Now, Chelsie doesn't want to completely blindside Quinn here. She wants to give him a little bit of a heads up, which is boring, I know, but hey, I do kind of get it because she's trying to maintain her social standing and all that. So, right before the veto ceremony, Chelsie is going to go up to Quinn to talk to him about Leah and warn him about all the things she was saying about him and how she was trying to throw him under the bus.
She screwed up her HOH. When it completely against you. When you and Joseph were her closest people in this house. Her reasonings, I understand. And then now she's up here till 5 a.m. basically pleading for us to put you up.
Chelsie is saying that she can't trust Quinn because of his bond with Leah, and Quinn is trying his best to defend himself here and trying his best to swear allegiance to Chelsie, but it's just too late. Unfortunately, the feeds cut this convo short, so we don't get to see how it all ends. But when the feeds come back on after the ceremony, we see that Angela has indeed been taken off the block yet again, and Quinn has been put in her place. Yikes. Being replaced for Angela has got to sting for Quinn. His game has just been on this downward trajectory for weeks now, and I think this is the rock bottom. A lot of y'all out there are wondering why and how the hell Angela keeps on slipping through the cracks week after week. I've heard all the usual theories about production stepping in and all that, and don't get me wrong, I do know that she's a production fave, but I don't think that's exclusively why the house guests keep on choosing to save her. See, there's this phenomenon happening in the Big Brother house, what I like to call the Angela paradox. Basically, it goes like this. Everyone can beat Angela in the finale, therefore she's not a threat. But if Angela is in the finale, then it lowers everybody else's chances of making it there, so she is a threat. She is both simultaneously a threat and non-threat to everybody at the same time. So she's really easy to put up, but not really worth taking out. I don't know, I kind of get it. I mean, after Tucker used that veto on her the first time, I had a suspicion that she would just be able to slide her way on through, and here she sits, safe again. Quinn is now officially the target for the week, and with no AI arena to save him, things are looking very bleak. I mentioned last week how I did not see Quinn recovering from that terrible HOH reign he just had, and now here we are. After the ceremony, Leah and Quinn were off sulking together in the bedroom, and Quinn is eventually able to pull himself out of it, but Leah continues to sulk and isolate herself pretty much all day. She's actually taking this whole thing way worse than Quinn is, which is crazy. But Leah is eventually able to make up with Angela and repair that spot there. It's just not saying much. But these two are starting to build their case against Chelsie, which could be a lot of fun later down the line.
Right before she even won HOH, like, I was super good with her. Like, I was like,
Yeah, I was too. And we promised each other we wouldn't put each other up.
and I was starting to like her even more and like really forgive her and see her from where she was coming from. And I did believe for a while that, like, you know, since Tucker was painting a horrible picture of me, of course, you know, he could be doing the same to her.
Chelsie thought that she could maybe pull Angela over to her side after this whole fiasco, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case. Now Chelsie has Angela and Leah looking at her sideways, and this is exactly why I thought Leah could be the better shot for Chelsie to take, but we'll just have to see how this pans out. Meanwhile, Chelsie was busy trying to secure her bond with T-Kor and her trio after the veto ceremony. She's trying really hard to keep them in the loop and inform everything just to pull them closer over to her side. Things are looking pretty sweet for Chelsea's game right now, not gonna lie. As long as Leah and Angela don't come into any power, I think Chelsie should be good through the next week at least. During Chelsea's first HOH reign, I thought she did a good job getting her target Lisa out, but she did kind of a mediocre job securing her spot in the house, which is why the Pentagon was able to blow up so easily right after. But it looks like this time around she was able to learn from her mistakes. As long as nothing too crazy happens, she should be leaving this week in a slightly better position than when she came in, and that's really the true goal of HOH. Getting your target out is just one part of it. The tougher and arguably more important part to me is being able to set yourself up for the weeks to come. So as of right now, Quinn is still set to be the one to leave this week. I mean, Kimo has T-Kor and Rubina's votes guaranteed. So unless Quinn is able to pull off some big mastermind power move against the big three, it's not looking good for him. It would be really tricky for Quinn to be able to stay, but I guess in this house, anything is possible. So of course, I want to know, what do you all think of this crazy ass plot twist? Are you glad to see Quinn on the block this week, or do you think somebody else should be evicted instead? Let me know in the comments below. Quinn has given us so much this past couple months, and while he's not my favorite player per se, I still really appreciate what he's been able to bring to the season. And if he does end up being our first juror, I really do think that he'll do the jury some justice. Of course, I'll be back here to update you all if anything else big changes in the game, but until then, bye.